was shocked when I heard that Fox News had hired Bruce Jenner to be its newest female political contributor. We remember Jenner winning Olympic gold in 1976 and from the front of the Wheaties box. But today, Jenner believes he is a woman. I'd love to know which female contributors were passed over or perhaps even made redundant to clear space for Fox's newest starred transgender commentator. We will never know their names. Bruce Jenner was hired on the last day of Women's History Month, but for many of us, it felt like the last day in women's history. We've all watched open-mouthed in shock and disgust as men have taken over women's sports, robbing women and girls of their rightful accomplishments and causing near-fatal injuries to real women in some contact sports. We've seen the photos of Leah Thomas's muscular frame towering over his female competitors. We've watched wondering how this can possibly be our America as drag queens and transsexuals parade around the halls of supposedly conservative political action conferences, as transsexuals force their way into our daughters' locker rooms, and as gay men with cross-dressing fetishes have hosted Drag Queen Story Hour for impressionable young children at our local libraries. We're expected to believe all of this is healthy and normal. An obsession with cross-dressing and gender disruption is one of the hallmarks of a civilization in rapid decline. I believe in America, and I don't want to see it fall like the Roman Empire did, overrun by barbarians in a matter of months because it had forgotten how to defend itself.
Okay, there's so much wrong with what she said, but just the last little comment about how the Roman Empire fell in months because of transsexuals or transgender or something. Yeah, after the Roman Empire, after they, I think it was Caligula, actually nominated a horse and confirmed a horse to the Senate, the Roman Senate, Rome went on for another 400 years, okay? So I don't know, like, who's writing this swill for her, but the really sick thing about what she's saying there is that they literally sit down and figure out what is the most vulnerable group and who is at the bottom of the list of people that other people respect or like or want to, grow up with. And they come up with transgender people are weird or transgender people are not real people. They dehumanize them. Is what they've done. Now, I'm no fan of Caitlyn Jenner's. I don't like the way that she sort of checks out on the issues that matter to, what made her possible to live free. She just doesn't really offer that much in the way of guidance or comfort or legislation or ideas about how to explain to ordinary people that she's ordinary, that there's nothing extraordinary about her, that it's a brain that decides that's the organ you really need to focus on, and that when it comes to women's sports, here's a little thing about the women's sports issue that I don't think anybody ever thinks about. In order to be on a women's sports team and be a transgendered woman, not only do you have to go through 4 years of, living as your chosen gender and, take hormone therapy to lower your testosterone levels to an appropriate level to compete in competitive sports as a woman. I mean, it takes years and years and years. But they just want you to think that these people somehow are infringing on our ability to have women's sports. Not true. It's not true. But this is all hatred. That is what this is. This is hatred at the expense of extremely vulnerable people who just started to believe like this much that maybe they could be honest and free and live openly in a free country called America. Just maybe this was their time. Just maybe after hundreds of years of being told something else or being told they had to conform or being told that they would be exiled or that they would be pariahs or that they would disappoint their parents. Maybe this was their time. Maybe it was now. And they're just beating that idea to a pulp for their own political fundraising. That's it. That's why she does it. She does it to fundraise. Now she's, after women too, right? Because she understands Roe v. Wade is going to be decided.
Mom and Dad have been replaced by Chasten and Pete Buttigieg and their designer babies. Our society is sick, and the symptoms are easy to see. Women are murdering and mutilating their own babies through the twin horrors of abortion and transgenderism without so much as a whisper of protest from conservatives who aren't brave enough to step in and stop it. As ever, our children are the victims. America can be rightly proud of its record on women's rights. There is no country in the world I would rather live in as a woman. My own success in business and election to Congress is a testament to the progress women have made in this nation. And yet Joe Biden wants to undo all of it. In the coming weeks, his Department of Education is expected to make changes to Title IX that will effectively end women's sports, guaranteeing that any biological male who wishes to compete against young girls will be allowed to do so.
Okay, she's leaving out all of the prerequisites to be a transgendered woman and play on a woman's team. She's leaving out all of the hoops you have to jump through, all of the blood tests, all of the preparation, all of the psychological counseling, all of the years that you have to spend, right? Or else it's very sad and it's very sick. Roy in North Carolina.
Yes. Hey, Randy, thanks for covering all these issues that get short shrift in the other news, and keeping a sense of humor about it. This is one thing I think we're wasting a lot of our energy on. Us progressives, we keep getting exercised about all these new GOP passing all these anti-democratic laws, anti-voting, anti-education, pro-gun, pro-pollution. We need to concentrate on two other things. They're like throwing a shiny object in front of us. We need to point out the things that really do need doing. That will show how ridiculous, like the no say gay law or the teaching about slavery law. And then also we need to lampoon it. It's a solution always looking for a problem. There's no problem, and they're proposing and passing these draconian solutions.
Okay, so wait. I'm confused. You say that they're draconian, like preventing people from being able to access the ballot box, right? They're draconian, like, actually punishing children and banning books and burning books. They're draconian because the court is going to overturn Roe v. Wade and take away a woman's autonomy over her own person.
Yep.
But you say they're not important and they're just shiny objects? That doesn't...
Oh, no. What we are not keeping our eye on the real ball because of that shiny object.
Which is what?
Well, we argue directly against this idiotic thing. Something like this.
Clear.
Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.